Good evening, namaste, ungal ellorkum en vanakkam. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Michelle Shetty and here's my co-host for today.
Hello and welcome, vanakkam to everybody who has come over here. Ellarukkum vanakkam. I'm Krishna Kumar. I've come from the TV9 network and I'm extremely happy to be here. And this is Global Bharat Movement 2.0, which is built upon three tenets essentially. One is the fact that, and that's something, a message essentially, that India is the most resilient economy in the world. We all know that India is the fastest growing major economy in the world, but India is also in this extremely volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous VUCA world that we live in. India is the most resilient economy. It's resilient to all kinds of shocks and pulls and pushes and etc., etc. The second is the success stories of those who've already undertaken their digital transformation journeys, the mid-market companies of the country, working with SAP India and its partners across the country. They've done some wonderful work, scaled up incredibly because of SAP India and its partners. And that message also has to be sent out because that's exponential. We're not talking about the big macro story of India, the greatness of India, Bharat, etc., etc. We're talking about you, your life, your company, what you need to do with your digital transformation. So that message from them. For 2.0, the journey began in Bengaluru with the Business Innovation Roadshows, which was fantastic. And then from Bengaluru, we did Vizag, Hyderabad, Kochi, Coimbatore. So our first target point in Tamil Nadu, incidentally, is Coimbatore. So Chennai should be like bucking up. Incidentally, SAP India went to Coimbatore first and is coming to Chennai. But after Coimbatore, we went to Mysore as well, a wonderful, wonderful city. And from there, we're now finally to the home of everything, the den of everything, which is Tamil Nadu, which is Chennai again. And then, so we're here with the Chennai edition.
It sounds like a fabulous journey so far, 6 wonderful cities. And of course, you have to end it with a bang. And what better than to do it in Namasingara, Chennai, right? Some love and light for Chennai. Come on, we're all here today.
I'm home.
Yes.
Can you make it feel a little home?
And what makes this event and this gathering all the more exciting is that SAP is doing this in partnership with ROX High-Tech Private Limited, who honestly do not need an introduction because they've been here for 15 years. Yes, and they are one of the fastest growing SAP partners here in this territory. Today, Krishna, since we're talking so much about digital transformation is no longer an option. It is a part of every company. And today we're not just discussing about the big established companies, we're talking about mid-sized companies, small companies that are just starting off and beginning their journey.
Yeah.
And talking about how SAP can change the way, the entire journey of these mid-sized companies today. Yes?
Absolutely.
So, since we are talking about this here today, we're talking about our Indian economy altogether. We're talking about the Global Bharat Movement altogether. I must tell you all, I think Krishna has already thrown light on the fact that India is poised to become one of the most powerful economic growth engines, and it is one of the fastest growing economies in the world. So keeping this vision in mind and catalyzing India's economic and business growth, I think it's time for us to invite on stage Mr. Vinod Palakil, Regional Director, SAP India Private Limited.
I just wanted to start with a small experience that I personally had when I was traveling in the US recently on a personal visit. While I was there, I felt the impact of macroeconomic factors, right? High double-digit inflation, which is actually caused due to the pandemic. Then there was also impact due to all the war-related factors. In general, what I saw was a wait and watch philosophy, right? The general aura in the US, imagine a country like US, such a large economy, it's wait and watch. And we see that in and day out in news today. On the contrary, if you see India to the size of our economy, haven't we all done brilliantly well, right? We've come out of all that global shock successfully. We've been self-reliant. So firstly, I think all of you again, please give a big round of applause to yourself because it's businesses like you has actually contributed to this self-reliance. So Global Bharat Movement is SAP's ode to all the businesses who have withstood these global shocks and have come out extremely successful in terms of taking our economy forward. Before I move ahead into the main topic of Indian economy and why we see from SAP, from the lens of SAP, we feel that India is poised not only for short term but for a long term perspective, right? I'll just present to you four lagging indicators that we see, right? Why we feel the economy is doing well now. One, you see a healthy non-agricultural credit offtake of greater than 13% year on year, right? What does this translate? This actually translates to say that there is money to invest in business. Businesses see that they can use the money to grow, right? While it is not as healthy as it was pre-COVID, but definitely if you compare the last 5 years in this decade, the non-agricultural credit offtake has increased. Two, you see a strong GDP growth of 6.5%. What does this actually tell us? This actually tells that there's domestic demand. It's driven by a lot of domestic demand. People are seeing businesses, mid-market customers are seeing avenues, new growth opportunities where we can go and sell. Point number three, while there's a lot of talk of inflation, I spoke about double-digit inflation in the US, etc. In India, I think we should take pride that we've been able to control the inflation. So that's again a good news. Lastly, a robust GST collection. We've been collecting, India is collecting about 1.5 lakh crore consistently quarter on quarter. This again connects back to the same point that I said. There's local demand, right? And hence, there is business that is happening and the government of India is collecting robust taxes. So if you see this particular slide, what we see is that a lot of mid-market customers are adopting cloud. And while they are adopting cloud, if you see here, the data center, the money that is spent on data center and devices are actually coming down. Couple of facts that I'd like to present is, since the year 2000, right, which is about 2 decades, 52% of Fortune 500 companies are out of business. Any guesses why they're out of business? Lack of innovation, absolutely, right? Today, if you see, there are competitors. If we don't innovate, there is a competitor sitting next door who's actually finding ways to actually reach that same customer that I can reach out to. Couple of decades, we've heard data is big, right? Importance of data. Data is the new oil. Over the last 3 years, again, we have seen this in action. So what we have launched, Grow with SAP. So Grow with SAP is a cloud ERP designed for mid-market organizations. And this is the first time in India or worldwide we have launched a solution specifically to address this missing middle to help organizations adopt and capture that opportunities that we see. So the world has huge problems. One, supply chain issues. We've seen over the last pandemic in terms of organizations struggling. Why organizations? We personally also struggled initially in terms of how do I get our groceries. Mid-markets customers today have systems that doesn't have the agility, doesn't have the ability or flexibility to actually change on the fly, right? Grow with SAP is a product that actually helps you in terms of meeting all these inefficiencies that you actually see in a mid-market enterprise. We've had customers who have gone live in 4 weeks in public cloud. Right? Just imagine, you start the project in May and you have the systems running in June. Right? So the product comes with extreme confidence, backed by partners like Rocks. They are capable to get your systems live in a jiffy. So with that, let me again welcome all of you to the Global Bharat Movement. Thank you and have a great evening.
It is my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Prabhu Rajagopal, Advisor Innovation and Entrepreneurship and Deputy Head CNDE IIT Madras, who will join us on stage to speak to us about India, the new global innovation hub. Let's welcome him with a huge round of applause, please.
Wonderful to be among all of you this evening. So I am a professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering at IIT Madras. I work in an area called NDE. It's not near-death experience. What it stands for, non-destructive evaluation. And it's essentially developing a bunch of sensors, trying to investigate and evaluate structures which cannot be evaluated visually. So think of X-rays, ultrasound, eddy currents, and so on. So we developed these bunch of sensors with which we can evaluate critical infrastructure such as power plants, nuclear plants, railways, aircraft, and so on. So in our group, we are also interested in ways of taking these sensors to remote locations, so underwater places where there are high temperature radiation and so on. So we are interested in robotics, we are interested in what we call as waveguides. And finally, we are also interested in what we do with this data that comes out of all of this. And so we are interested in this what we call as NDE 4.0, which is also the part of Industry 4.0 paradigm, which is disrupting industries everywhere. We today look at universities as wellspring of new knowledge, new technology, disruptive solutions, inventing the future, which is what we have set out our goals and targets at IIT Madras as. And I'm going to talk about a few of these as we go forward. Imagine a routine railway worker who is to inspect 400 bridges in a given district in some remote corner of Maharashtra. So these bridges are all crossing rivers. So there is a lot of corrosion on these bridges. And what they are doing is very, very vital for the safety of the travelers, the passengers, the trains that cross these bridges and so on. And every year, these bridges develop a lot of cracks, lot of corrosion and so on. So painstakingly, this person has to do it. 5 years ago, nobody knew how many, first of all, they had no record of how many such bridges are there, for example. The second thing is how many of them have been inspected in the recent past. Now today, just as of last week, one of the startup CEOs known to me has made a presentation to the Union Railway Minister. He has this digital dashboard solution with which a taluk officer is able to look at all the bridges which have river crossings in his district. As such, sitting at on his desk at the click of a button, no more 100-page reports, just one application, web application, with a geotagging of different bridges in there under his jurisdiction. In each of those bridges, those places where there are defects, now going to those defects, looking at the history of inspection, with prediction, predictive analytics, and forecasting. So the minister was blown away, and then the minister said, "I'll give you a pilot." So when he told that number, I went blown away literally. So how many? Can you guess how many numbers the minister said? 10,000 bridges. He says, do a pilot for me. India has 150,000 bridges. As such. So this is an example of digital transformation. And tomorrow, when you go to a railway official, he may be looking at some of these maps and getting live predictions of when a particular bridge or a track or a other asset under their jurisdiction is going to be critical in terms of maintenance. Many of us rely on infrastructure provided by municipalities and corporations for amenities like water, an amenity that we take so much granted. In Chennai, we have the Chennai Metro Water and Sewerage Board, very efficient. Many of us rely on this board for water. But many of these lines were laid more than 30, 40 years ago, actually. And none of them has, many of them do not have any maps remaining, actually. A few years ago, one of our teams was called to do an inspection of these pipelines because one of the startup teams, again out of IIT Madras, develop robots that goes into these distribution water lines because these are very small, less than 100 millimeters. These robots are going inside these pipes and inspecting them, so they got a call. This startup has come up with a digital dashboard with which, again, a Chennai commissioner or Chennai mayor can look at the entire piping infrastructure that they have. And the final example I'm going to give you is about high temperature power plants. Each of us is talking about, industrial disruption. Tamil Nadu is the, factory of the country and so on. But the sad part that we never notice is that the, operating conditions in many of these factories, sweltering, very difficult for the average worker. So a couple of our startups, one of them is working on video-based AI analytics that helps plants to monitor incidents, helps plants to monitor occupational safety. Edge analytics powered cameras that are very cheap. You can buy hundreds of thousands of them, install in plants, and then get live information on occupational safety and so on. if we do not change with this new wave of technological disruption that is coming in, right, there may be no business to be made. There may be no growth to be made. I find people from Africa telling me they are reading our lecture materials and going through our video notes. So, mass education, skilling, that's something we are engaging in. We are engaging with industry in bringing in classical as well as disruptive, futuristic technologies and solutions. The third thing that I missed saying is about space as such. I spoke about quantum, spoke about distributed. Space is another thing that we are very big in. IIT Madras, one of the IIT Madras startups is going to have its own bay in Sriharikota, launching rockets, launching satellite launchers as such, and we are building space mobility, flying taxis, and so on. We want to bring in all those kinds of futuristic and innovative solutions for the industry. We want to work with society, engage with them at all levels, and this is the dynamic equilibrium and the open university that we are talking about, and this will be the innovation hub of the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor. Let's have a huge round of applause for him, please. So Krishna, today we are talking a lot about digital transformation. However, I think a lot of enterprises usually have a major concern when it comes to, be it a cultural aspect or a resistance from employees. This tends to deter and hamper the implementation of all these strategies. So it becomes very important for organizations to have a digital transformation partner. And since we're talking about Chennai today, what is your thought and perspective on this? I mean, you've seen so many different partners today. We are here with our fabulous partners in Chennai.
So my expectations are very high because, when you go to a city like Visakhapatnam and Mysore and you see the kind of, digital transformation journeys, they're doing, and the kind of, customers and partners that SAP India has, the big cities have to buck up. So I'm hoping here that Chennai is going to take everything one notch up further, in terms of, the variety of companies doing their digital transformation journeys, So that's my expectation. So let's hope for the best.
Well, on this note, I think we have the right persons here with us. Our partners today are Rocks High-Tech Private Limited. Let's have a huge round of applause for Mr. Karthik Kalaimani, Executive Vice President, Rocks High-Tech Private Limited.
All these events, roadshows, roundtables that SAP and the partner community host together is geared towards a standard outcome. And is that more subscription for us? Is that more business for us? No, that's just a byproduct of what we do. The actual outcome, which is ever constant, is and has always been customer success. Post-pandemic, the big question is, do we see business returning back to normal? Simple answer, no. Looking back at what we, the tech industry, have done with the words disruption and transformation is that we've overused them in the past 20 years. The past 4-5 years is where the actual disruption and transformation has happened. Some companies have said, let's wait and see if things would go back to the way they were before. But I guess it's not going to be that way before. There has never been. The way I see it is, it's just going to be today's normal, tomorrow's normal, and the next new normal. The past few years have led to the establishment of 3 distinct types of companies. The ones that are fortunate by good strategy or planning, or by sheer happenstance, that they have been able to rapidly adapt to the changes as they happened. When lockdowns were enforced, they were able to send their workforces to effectively work from home. And then if you look at the supply chain disruption, they were able to source from alternate sources. And when manufacturing plants were shut down, they were able to manufacture somewhere else. The second group are the ones that have got there by sheer determination or brute force. And the third ones are the ones that are unfortunately out of business. The companies that are thriving have not only made some smart technology adoptions, but they've also focused on the mindset piece. For companies that are thinking, what is it that we should do now? The first thing is to identify where you are going. What does the world look for you in the near future? And then, what is it that's going to differentiate you to your customers? That's the mindset piece. Can we actually change and can we do things differently? And from there, it's going to be a constant transformation. Right from process analysis to process improvement, the technology platform, the cloud ERP, the intelligence suite, and the industry solutions. RISE brings everything together. Not just to say that, we are giving you the latest technology. No, that's not about it. But where are you going? We will accompany you in that journey and help you with the best practices, because that's what we've literally been doing thousands of times before. There are essentially two growth pillars. One, the SAP software itself, which today is available in an easy consumption model with very interesting commercials attached to it. This is the same quality software that the global businesses use today. And the other pillar is about going actively and helping you build your own network, build your brand, work together on innovation, and give access to our communities and networks. This actually helps you grow. So together, let's grow with SAP, and we all look forward to meeting you during the networking and see how we as Rocks can help you with your digital transformation. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Karthik. Ladies and gentlemen, we will have our industry experts share their thoughts and views with us on success with technology for sustainable growth. I invite on stage our moderator for the session, Krishna Kumar.
Before we get into technology, if you can tell us, Mr. M.S. Jain, about your company, because it's far away from technology, but you're also an observer. So talk to us from your company's perspective. What your company does, and how technology is related to it.
I put up in my life 55 plants all over India, and 3 plants overseas. So now we have combined some of the plants. 30 plants are there running in India and 3 plants abroad. One is in Egypt, another South Africa, and then Dubai. This product is a very useful to hundreds of industry, but very small way. So I have only one thing to share now, that we put up a very big plant, because this is one of the raw material for precipitated silica, which is being used in so many industries, maximum in tire industry. So we put up a big plant in Kadalur with 110 crores in 2016. But we could not run it profitably, so we have sold that to Tata Chemicals Limited. So 2018 it was sold. So now there was a financial crisis for us, and we will be coming out from the CIRP in near future. And now our research team is working for making precipitated silica, same product, from rice husk ash. So RHA. So that we have put up some small plant, and we have come out very successful.
Right.
And that will be the next scope for us.
So not everybody here is the most tech savvy or the most technology related people over here. Your own views on how you think technology is impacting your business.
Trivitran is started 25 years before as a medical manufacturing equipments trading organization. After that, now past 10 years, we are started manufacturing medical equipments by our own. So we have a factory manufacturing facility in Chennai, Mumbai and Pune, and we have a manufacturing facility in Finland, Turkey, Dubai, and African continents. So we implemented SAP ECC system on 2013, and it is since we have a very complex manufacturing BOM system. So SAP journey we doing past 10 years is really helping to grow this industry in a certain level. Now recently we implemented HANA, SAP S4 HANA system. We went as a greenfield implementation. We are not done on a migration. And this implementation is done by Rocks. Thank you very much for Rocks team. This is a very successful implementation. We went on live this month, April 7th, we went on live. We've done many things. I thanks to Rocks and Rocks SAP team, especially They have done a great job, very great job. This is a 9 months implementation.
I really want to, understand, your own dalliance with technology and how it impacts your business and how it impacts the scaling up of your business and already the scale at which your business exists. How I'd love to know how technology impacts you.
To be part of such a huge chain built by a family of farmers. And they came from Rajapalayam, and the determination and the vision they had and they still have is inspiring many. And I'm one of the inspired person. Today, Adayar Bhavan is one of the largest chain in India. So, and how this entire operation is getting operated is through an in-house built system. So, so the technology has been adopted 10 years ago, but the last 3 years has been purely a revolution because of COVID, which actually put us down to the lowest levels. And that time...
One business that was hit the most, eating out.
But yeah, that gave us a good time to sit and focus on how we could optimize our resources, where are we going to extract that savings from, and how are we going to shut down and again operate at a jiffy. So digital transformation has been, COVID has been a precipitator for that. And also, I mean, the way we have adopted the latest technologies, let it be the Android or the Angular based apps, or getting into the RPAs. I mean, we have implemented many process bots today. Without technology, scaling up any business is definitely a challenge, and Adayar Andaban has been, I would say, on top of things to adopt technologies, and people like Rox and team and SAP, I mean, they have been a kind of a revelation for us to tell us where the technology is heading towards, and we are like trying to inspire from them and also maybe partner with them in the future to have our solutions combined.
Jim, talk to us, in terms of both. Your own views on the kind of tech environment that we live in. Constantly changing technology, yes, but this is like every hour changing technology, every month changing technology, because the time from ChatGPT to GPT-4 was 3 weeks or 4 weeks or something like that. So tell us.
Thanks, SAP. Awesome, partners and brand to be associated with. Fantastic entrepreneurs, great, customers, my team. Chennai has got awesome people. Very loyal, conservative, great businesses built. But unfortunately, this was always a hunting ground for others to come, disrupt, make money, run away. And there was no stable, IT technology provider focusing on domestic market. It was always international market from here. So what we thought when we built this practice, that we a group of youngsters with a collective experience of 200 years and more in SAP. So we all, sat together and said, hey guys, we will participate in the Atmanirbhar Bharat journey. Make Tamil Nadu a 1 trillion economy by enabling businesses here a technology adopter. So this was our vision. Making money was never, because we know domestic market.
You don't hear
very
this anywhere else outside of Chennai, by the way. Yeah.
Because Chennai, conservative market, right, they're going to out-negotiate us. But it's fine. But we are going to walk the journey with everybody here, make them successful. And make SAP adoption simple.
Tell us, from your own company's perspective, your own business perspective, are you seeing greater confidence now with the digital transformation, helping them knowing the fact that all they need to do to scale up and have a sustainable business is to adopt the right kind of technology, do the right kind of digital transformation?
I feel that will be a huge potential thing. The AI platform implementation, the industries are looking now, right? Problem is, as Jim told, the demand on the resources, talent pools, right? So one good thing, this now the technology engineering colleges have started courses on the AI courses, right? So this way something meet out the demand in the future. So AI resources demand, it meet out the future. But obviously the AI will be the huge potential in the industries are wanted to implement the system.
Will AI be equally important at AAB? If I may, at Hyderabad, how much of AI gets used? I'm curious now.
So we have already gone to the predictive analytics of forecasting demand, supply, and how much of raw material we need to procure. It's a continuous improvement program. In industries or either food or let it be any other manufacturing industry, artificial intelligence to an extent of forecasting will definitely be there, and also with these new sensor-based solutions, we are even looking at putting up a sensor where food goes through the bay and identify any bacterial growth, or even identify raw materials which are not to the expected standards. So those kind of sensors will definitely be an artificial intelligence.
Who would have thought? I mean, that's the beauty of technology per se. The best discussion we've had so far, I'm guessing. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause, for the people on the panel and for the audience over here.
Now, to give us an overview of SAP's intelligent spend management solution, please join me in welcoming Mr. Nikhil Kamath, Direct Sales, Intelligence, Spend and Business Networks, SAP, India.
Let's pick up a simple process, vendor collaboration, right? Now, if you look at today's vendor collaboration, this typically is something like this, right? It's all chaotic because it's all manual. It's in Excels. And this is like the typical shop floor situation, right? Product is coming in, you don't, what is in quality stock, how much should I plan? So this is the typical current state of the situation. Why this happens? This happens primarily because when you look at a vendor, right, there are a lot of statistics, measurements, everything needed to do it from quality and many things. So a typical vendor onboarding, I mean, if you look at the supply chain process part of it, starts with this. I send an Excel sheet, I send a Google form, someone fills it up, someone evaluates, every process is offline. It's all emails and Excel, which means it's not real time. There is no market intelligence in this. It's a static information. Now, once I onboard them, of course, the second factor, which has been a historical factor, is cost savings. If you look at the products, the go-to market of new versions and new products is shrinking, which means I need my new products on the field faster than it used to be in the past ages, right? Which means I need my processes to be faster, be it design collaboration, be it the normal RFQs, be it the negotiations on payment terms, delivery times. There is a whole lot of things, right? Again, there is a lot of paper, which means again there is a sustainability factor associated with it. How can I get rid of paper so that I am also sustainable as part of it? Also, I want to look at my cash flows because there is a lot of input tax credit stuck in this, and Government of India saying by end of 2023, any company, any of my vendors whose turnover is 1 CR and above has to file the IRN. And plus, MSMEs have to be paid within 45 days. If I want to look at and summarize this core processes, and I'm talking about core processes, intelligence will come into place when these processes are digitized, right? Now, as you can see, this is your SAP layer at the bottom, where you are using it today. And everything which goes out of this system to your vendors, whatever comes from your vendor is all manual. So this is a typical view of the vendor onboarding, right? Now, interesting thing about intelligence is, one is third-party data, which is a market intelligence, a third party giving me intelligence about the vendor. On the right side, if you see alert feed, now this is nothing but the internet telling you, this was the news published about your vendor. Please validate if it's right or wrong. And it can be across different types of situations which you can define, be it regulatory issues which are happening, be it a cyclone, be it whatever it is, right, at their place, their city, their country, or related to the vendor. Now that's the intelligent insights coming to you sitting here in Chennai of a vendor city or somewhere located in US or China, where you have no access to about that information. The internet is telling you that, right? I'm now getting a risk snapshot about my vendors. I'm getting a risk exposure. I'm getting information about risk incidents, regulatory, legal, compliance, forced labor, environmental and social, financial risk coming from third party. Now, if you want to go just click environmental and social, this is about a third party data, which is coming from a third party called EcoVadis, right? Which gives me a complete insight about different environmental factors. So what I did, I onboarded a new vendor. I did an immediate risk analysis across parameters. That's giving me market intelligence from the third party, as well as I'm pulling or crawling into the internet to get an ongoing news about my vendors happening across the globe. Yeah, so if you can see here, 4 vendors, one single comparative with all the parameters, payment terms, delivery, and the commercial part of it. This is a view for the vendor. Again, this is where there is a mobile app also given to them. As you can see, there is a PO on the down, they get a complete feed of it. They get a nice view of what they have to do as an actions. And if you scroll down, we'll open up one of the orders. Just open up one of the orders. This again is a PO-based collaboration. Yeah, and this is materials PO, let's call it. So you have order confirmation, shipping notices, invoices, all can be done. This is your PO from SAP flowing onto them, and they can perform transactions. Now I want to view this entire network in a graphical manner, right from when it was sourced versus when it got delivered, right? So this is a network part of it. If you scroll down on that side, this is when the product was received. There is a milk coming from Germany. If you scroll up, there is a baking powder coming from France, and you scroll up, then this is from Italy. And then when I take this into this on the right side, this is how the process went, and then it was finally delivered, right? Basically, SAP is doing a lot in terms of making these intelligence or sensor-based things live as well, right? So thank you very much.
Now it's time for us to invite on stage Mr. Shubho Jyoti Chatterjee from SAP India, who will take us through how small and medium-sized businesses can adopt the public cloud to embark on their digital journey.
When I talk about industry best practices, so about 80% odd of all of your industry processes may fit into what we see as a cloud product today, right? So we essentially want to fit to standard all of your practices that you're doing today, right? And these end-to-end business KPIs which can be tracked, and you can drive actionable insights out of them. So all of these processes that you see, which are end-to-end integrated within that one box that you have in the cloud. So starting from lead to cash, source to pay, plan to fulfill, all of these are covered within your best practices, and they're pre-configured and ready to go with just a little bit amount of configuration that needs to be done. We at SAP believe that any implementation of an ERP is incomplete unless it's adopted from shop floor to top floor. Now, what do I mean by that? Shop floor to top floor is that every single user who interacts with the SAP system has to have a certain amount of understanding, and what we provide today in the next generation UI of the S/4HANA Cloud is essentially that it's device agnostic. As you can see, the mobiles, laptops, and iPads, whatever it is, it'll be available on that. For us as SAP, with the amount of experience that we have of ERPs and security, we know cloud security, and it's a multi-tiered approach. So if you look at, there's audit and compliance, which are the latest and greatest audit compliance reports and all the certifications. They're all available on a public cloud solution. Now, finally coming to your industry best practices and how we understand that. And this is where one of the great partners like ROX comes in, wherein they understand your business processes as a business, and then they select the scope in a digital discovery assessment tool. Now, this is the ecosystem of S/4HANA Cloud and what it sits upon, right? So S/4HANA Cloud and the peripheral ecosystem is built on the business technology platform. You see how businesses can productize their services or servicize their products, right? It's all available and it's all possible with this one solution, wherein we can bring in subscriptions, we can bring in invoices, finance, revenue, all of that on one particular platform. We are also available across 51 countries, so that's an expansion portfolio that we have, and we are adding more and more countries to the portfolio every 6 months with new releases. And S/4HANA Cloud is also available in 32 languages. Finally, this is the last slide, and I'll just be covering it very quickly. These are very criminally underused resources that SAP provides, which is the community, which is not just for SAP consultant, but also for SAP customers, where you can go and discuss whatever issues that you have in case there are any. And that's about it. And that's a brief overview of Grow with SAP. And thank you so much.
So now, to share her views and to address us on accelerating innovation with the business tech platform, please join me in welcoming on stage Miss Amandeep Kaur Budhiraja. Solution Specialist, COE, Business Technology Platform, APJ.
BTP actually is the platform on which all of our SAP technology is built, right? And now what we are doing is we are providing this technology to you as a platform to build your own innovations. So essentially what we are saying is we're giving you the platform to innovate with agility, and we're giving you all of these different tools, right? And precisely I'm talking about 96 different services at this moment, which form a part of the business technology platform. Now, moving forward, when we talk about business applications, when we choose business applications, we make our decisions based on various factors. We decide the technology that we want to have in our organization, and then we realize that our businesses are unique, right? We have requirements which are very, very specific to our own business, the way we run our business. And that's when we start on adding different components on top of it, right? We start building customizations. We might want to bring in some kind of automations. We might want to transport data from one application to the other, and so on and so forth. And that's when we start adding these different applications into our landscape and end up making it very complicated. We don't want to do that. So what with SAP, what you have is the opportunity of selecting business technology platform. So to start with, when we talk about augmenting and understanding the systems, when we talk about our customizations or our localizations that we've done in our landscape, we have seen a complete shift in the way we innovate, right? We have been, earlier we were using Fortran, we had C, Java, JavaScript, and so on and so forth. But now what we're doing is we're passing the baton on to the citizen developers. Now, who's a citizen developer? Somebody who understands the process, business process. Somebody who's an expert in the business process, understand what is the technology requirement of the business process, right? Now, what if we are able to give the tools to this person so that with the help of drag and drop, he's actually able to build these applications. Now is the time when we have low-code, no-code technologies coming up, and BTP allows you to do that with the help of SAP Build. So what you see on the screen here is the build component, where with the help of drag and drop, you're able to design the interface, how your application looks. One of the USPs of what I'm talking about here is, and you've heard multiple times about how we have supported 25 industries, and we've been in business for 50 years globally and 25 years in India. As a result of that process, what we've done is we've accumulated a lot of best practices, right? And now we're proud of the fact that we allow all of our customers to have access to these best practices. Again, very helpful, reduces the time to value for your organizations, and helps you get it started. And I think this is most relevant for organizations which fall in the mid-market space, because time is of essence here, right? So you can definitely have a look at this. Essentially, sky is the limit when it comes to innovation. So whatever you can think about, however creative you can be about running your businesses, you can do it with the help of BTP. So again, thank you so much for listening.
So now we have with us for the final session today, Mr. Sohib Mohammed, to share his thoughts on how you can secure an SAP implementation.
So what you see here is the launchpad of the SAP Cloud ALM solution. So the standard SAP Cloud Solution UI that is available is how the SAP Cloud ALM solution looks like. So we have the respective tabs for implementation and operations, which we saw about. We have it for implementation. We have the different dashboards that are there for a project that grow with SAP customer plans. So he will be having the various implementation status dashboards for his implementation. He can, until designing his process, testing the design process, and deployment until into the production can be tracked. With respect to the process flows, you have the process diagrams. So the BPMN-based diagrams that the customer can plan for the fit to standard workshop and identify the requirements in their implementation journey. Types of dashboards are available in your implementation, which you can track in one single dashboard view for your project that you will select. So the various requirement to deploy, the processes to deployment, all of those dashboards are available. Yeah. With this, I thank you very much.
Those are the magic words. Cocktails and dinner, ladies and gentlemen. We'll meet you guys over there. Thank you so much for joining us. One more round
Thank
of
you
applause.
very much once again. I'm Michelle Shetty, and here is
Krishna Kumar signing off. Vanakkam, vandadukku nallathu. Romba thank you.